I think all public sector workers want to say, first of all, thank you for taking the time after what had to have been an exhausting struggle to come up here and share your experiences with us. I know that despite the fact that we are facing very different contexts in some ways, that the lessons that you have to offer us and that you're going to share with us tonight are things that all of us can learn from. And so I want to begin just by saying thank you for taking the time to come up and speak to all of us tonight. In West Virginia, we all know, the labor movement right now is staring at the Janus versus AFME Supreme Court case. And that is threatening to impose essentially right-to-work conditions on the labor movement across the country. But what your strike showed was that that court case does not have to be a death sentence for the American labor movement. That actually it may be a wake-up call to the American labor movement to get its act together and start putting the rank and file first. And so I think all of us have a lot to learn from you, and I just want to take a few minutes to reflect on some of those lessons, because I know that we have people here who are visiting from a lot of locals around the Northeast, and we've all come to try to learn from your struggle. But a lot of these are cities where the prevailing conditions for teachers are very different. We face similar attacks. We face similar attacks on our health care, on pensions, on stagnant wages. Our working conditions get worse and worse. Although here, the unions look very different. They're large, they're institutional, they're totally tied in with the political sausage-making factory in the city, and they really do reach into the lives of workers in a way that I think is probably different. They're experts at tamping down the activity of the rank and file or redirecting it. And I think that what is so inspiring about the struggle in West Virginia, and that I would invite all of us to reflect on, is that you didn't just slam your head against the wall asking the union to do things for you, asking the union to be more active or to stand up for people. You didn't hit that brick wall over and over again. You just sort of vaulted over it and took the fight straight to the boss, straight to the legislature, and you made the union adapt to your organizing. And I think that to me is a really important lesson, because while we all believe that rank and file is what makes the labor movement what it is, that's where the power lies, I think it's easy to lose sight of what that looks like when it's actually put into practice. And so I want to say thank you for reminding all of us what real rank and file action looks like and what's possible when workers actually take the struggle into their own hands. And I take your visit here as a challenge for us in some ways. I mean, a lot of us have been organizing in the wake of the Chicago teachers' strike. And they're the model that we saw work, which is one that I think has a lot to recommend it, is that you campaign to win union office, and then you're able to mobilize a workforce and a larger coalition of people within the city behind you. And that's an important lesson for us. But I think that West Virginia puts something else on the table, which is what happens when the rank and file just does it themselves. And I think that also needs to be an important part of the conversation. How do we put the rank and file in the driver's seat? And so for me tonight, the challenge you present to me is how to think much more creatively and much more with much wider horizons about what's possible for the labor movement in this moment. And that we should not limit ourselves to just the project of struggling within our unions for a seat at the table, but that we should think really big about what's possible for public workers. And I think it's an interesting question. How would our organizing look different if instead of campaigning for union office, we campaigned for a public sector strike in New York City? That would have sounded insane to me a month ago. And it sounds something that if it's not part of the conversation now, that we'd be missing out. And so I am inviting everyone here today to use your visit as an opportunity to raise our expectations, expand our horizons, and learn a little bit about how you were able to put the rank and file in the driver's seat in West Virginia, and how we can maybe think about spreading that model around the country and also bringing it here to New York. So thank you for taking the time. I know it's no doubt an exhausting journey, and it's been an exhausting struggle, but we all are in your debt, and we are all looking forward to learning from you tonight. So thank you very much for coming out.
Thanks, Kevin. We're going to have some welcome remarks from Judy Sheridan-Gonzalez, president of NYSNA. We're very lucky, as I said earlier, to have the space and to have her with us. So she's going to say a few words to welcome us.
Thank you. I'm going to be uncharacteristically brief, those of you who know me. So this is really exciting for us because about 6.5 years ago, we had a rank and file initiative, and we had this crazy idea that maybe we could, really make our union a union and take over our union. And where's Pat Kane? Can you please stand up? Pat Kane. Stand up, stand up, stand up. So all you need is a couple of crazy people who think that that's possible. Developing your caucuses and doing the work that you have to do, knowing that things are so bad that it could be better, and you're going to make something better. And we just recently came back from India. We were invited by the United Nurses of Association of India. There's 5 million nurses in India, and you think right to work is bad. They don't even have the right for exclusive representation or collective bargaining. They have to do other things. What they have to do is they have to have strikes. They have sit-down strikes. They have hunger strikes. They do all kinds of things to get their needs met. And when I was coming back, I said, what's wrong with us here? And then I hear about what's going on in West Virginia, and I was like, wow, it really is possible. Maybe we can rebirth a better labor movement, a more militant labor movement, and a labor movement that can really fight for workers and communities together. Just like the old days, it doesn't matter what the laws say, right? What matters is that we have the power. So I welcome you to our home. We talked to Sean. Is Jill here yet? Jill? Not here yet. So we talked to Sean, and me and Jill were coming back. Jill is the executive director. We're coming back from Albany at a whole other kind of meeting. And we said, so what food do you have? He said, well, we don't have food. And we said, what do you mean you don't have? We're older, so it's our home. We have to have food. So Jill went to get some pizzas. So we're going to be having some pizzas and sodas a little later on for everybody, because we can't have you in our home without some kind of food. We're mothers, grandmothers. So anyway, enjoy. We're really excited to have you all here. We're really excited to be here, and let's let the show begin.
Thank you. So a couple folks are going to come up and join me right now. This has been such an incredibly inspiring struggle. There have been an outpouring of solidarity greetings directed at the strikers. We're going to read a small sampling of them tonight. The full text of all of them will be available on the event webpage, on the Facebook page. So if you'd like to see the kind of international support that this has inspired, you can go indulge yourself in some of these comments coming from around the world. So the first two that we're going to have are from Puerto Rico and Mexico. Yeah. Oh dear.
Can I go in front?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is that okay? Okay. So this first statement is a statement of solidarity from the Federación de Maestros de Puerto Rico. To the victorious educators of West Virginia, the Federation of Teachers of Puerto Rico expresses its full solidarity with the teachers of West Virginia in their exemplary struggle to get a fair salary for educational workers. We received the news that the strike ended with a guaranteed salary increase of 5% for educators and all state workers with great joy and satisfaction. The strike lasted 9 days, closing the public schools in all 55 counties in West Virginia, showing in practice that struggle and militancy can lead us to victory. Not even a Republican state government could stop these educators. The Federation of Teachers from Puerto Rico join in celebrating this great victory. We salute our union sisters and brothers from the trenches as we struggle in defense of public education, for the rights of educators, and for our children's future. Back in 2008, Puerto Rican teachers carried out a successful strike that stopped the privatization of our school system. Today, we are facing this attack on public education all over again. As we struggle to defend our schools, you serve as an inspiration to us for the battles we face against privatization. Your victory gives us the strength we need to yet again stop the imposition of charter schools in Puerto Rico. Please accept our embrace and full support in your struggles.
People love you guys.
Sure. So this one's dated March 9th, 2018 from Mexico City. Compañeras y compañeros, greetings to the sisters and brothers of West Virginia. It is with great joy that we heard the news of your successful strike. Once again, you have demonstrated that when thousands of teachers unite in defense of our rights and education as a right, we can win. That's right, we said win. A simple word that after decades of attacks on workers around the world becomes more than a concept. It means life, it means struggle, and it is our only acceptable goal. What's more, you have won during the Trump era, which was touted as a period when we wouldn't be able to fight back against anti-worker attacks. And you, the brave and dignified educators of West Virginia, have shown that the only certainty is struggle, where victory lies in our own hands. In struggle, we can win. It is so easy for us to be defeated when we don't struggle, but that is not our way. We will not go down without a fight. Our traditions are built on solidarity, dignity, and holding our heads high. Our strength lies in our organization, in numbers, and in the strike weapon. As you can imagine, the mainstream media in Mexico did not even bother to broadcast a minute of TV news or to print the tiniest note in the international section of your strike. How can we expect anything less from the same forces who criminalize us and make our own struggles here in Mexico invisible? But thanks to the bridges of solidarity that have been built in other struggles, we learned of your movement and victory. Mexican teachers from both sides of the border feel your victory like it was our own. Here in Mexico, the National Coordinating Committee of Education Workers has been fighting for years against the so-called educational reforms that criminalize teachers and rob them of their rights. Your example gives us hope and gives strength to carry on our fight. Similarly, the National Coordinating Committee of University Unions, which is fighting every day for decent wages, feels empowered by the example you have given of how to fight. We stand strong in the belief that it is only the struggle of education workers that can defend our rights and win our battles, just as you did. And if we can start winning, we can keep winning. Your victory is a step that will help us continue our fight. It is a step that helps us build cross-border bridges of solidarity and struggle for our common goal, the defense of public education, for the rights of educators, and for the consolidation of unions and worker organizations. We send you a big embrace and all our respect for this, your first victory. And as we say here, el maestro luchando también está enseñando, which means when teachers join in struggle, they are also teaching.
Thanks. I'm going to read a couple more because the breadth of them is quite exciting. This is from striking university workers at King's College in London. Solidarity from King's College London branch to all the West Virginia teachers who have been on strike for better wages and social provisions. From London to West Virginia, together we strike against an education system that needs what we bear, but cannot bear what we need. That's a good one. Yeah. Very unbiased. The striking university workers of City University of London, UK, stand in solidarity with the teachers and service personnel of West Virginia. Your heroic struggle, wildcat courage, and certain victory are inspirational. Education workers are rising up in Oklahoma, the UK, Finland, France, and Kenya. Let's make this a global victory for education and for the people, not profit, everywhere. Yeah. And I just wanted to remind people that the event tonight is being live streamed. Right now, we are being live streamed across the country in San Francisco, Chicago, Burlington, Amherst, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Rochester, Boston, and Portland, Maine. Just to be clear, that's not like 12 individuals. Those are 12 watching parties where people are gathered in rooms, probably a little smaller than this. But I know that a lot of those folks are educators themselves and are rank and filers looking for strategies to move forward. So this is a great event that isn't just, the 300 plus of us in this room today, but is actually reaching out, and people will view it and review it and share it, and use the Facebook. We'll use Facebook as we'll hear you all did for your struggle to spread the message. So before we start our chat, I just want to say, getting you all up here, which is a great honor to have you come visit, wasn't cheap. And so we're going to pass some buckets through the audience because we don't expect the folks who came here to pay their way to teach us a lesson. So please dig in, and any money that we raise above and beyond the, I think, $1,500 to $2,000 it cost to get folks up here will go to the strike fund. And there is overhanging debt from the strike, costs incurred during the strike, that people are still, I think, to the tune of about $3,000. So we'd love to have people give what they can tonight. I know some of you all are tenured or, have seniority. So please dig deep if you can, and if you can't, we're glad you're here too. So with that being said, we're going to shift now to some conversation with the strikers. I'm going to ask a series of questions. We probably have about an hour for that, and I'll probably sprinkle in some more solidarity greetings where they fit, because there are a bunch of them. So just get comfortable, and we're going to hear from the three folks who have joined us, who I have not introduced, which I will do now. So we have with us tonight, from left to right, we have Katie Endicott, a teacher in Mingo County, one of the first school districts to strike. Not the first, I hear, but one of the first to go out. And Mingo County, as people know, is one of the hotbeds of labor struggle from the early 20th century, responsible by many accounts for some of the labor legislation that we all live under today. She's a high school teacher of 10 years. Next to her is Emily Comer, also a teacher, a Spanish teacher, and co-creator of the Facebook page West Virginia Public Employees United, which helped to organize the rank and file. And right next to me, right here, is Jay O'Neill, another teacher, this one, bravest of them all, a middle school teacher. Who did a lot to bring together rank and file organizing efforts, also through the Facebook page. So can we get a quick hand for all of them? And now we're going to sit. Can everyone? Yeah. Unless, do you all want to stand? Yeah. Could you think we could sit up on the, or no, I just told a bunch of people they couldn't do that. Okay, well, we'll try this out. We'll try this out and see how it goes.